Good afternoon. I did not go live this morning because I had stuff to do. I was still in a bad mood, but hey, my mood should not affect your mood. So, um, it's been kind of looking at a few things. I noticed that there's some changes with me on a few things, but hey, it's a part of life. Good weekend. I hope everybody was profitable and or rested or both. See, let's put this up here. We'll share the screen now for now. And yeah. Excuse me. Sorry about that. I'm out of coffee though. I have not made any coffee and haven't decided if I want more coffee. I might be coffeeed out if there's such a thing. I know Pale Rider's probably like, what? There's no such thing as coffee and out. I mean, I've seen that man have coffee at right before bed. But this ain't a morning coffee live. This is just a live. So pretty exciting weekend as far as YouTube goes. I was on Wheelburner Express's channel. We had a good conversation. I was there with Nomadic Brit and a few others. I think Jackknife was on there. TT was on there. So that's good. And then I did a Guitar Live feed Saturday night. That's probably going to be switched to members only if you want to watch that. Let's see what else. What else happened over the weekend? I did not go hunting over my weekend because the hunting trip got canceled. Thanks to in part a shipper of the guy that I was going to go hunting with out to his property. So, and then this Monday morning, I was more interested in running my business than running this YouTube. So I had to deal with that. A lot of pain, misery, and discontent going on right now. A lot of people are struggling and suffering, and if I can be a little bit of a light in this world, then that's great. But there's only so much I can do. The rest of it's up to you. So, anyways, here's for the all loads. Oh, it's for Van. Never mind. That's for Van. I had a good talk with CDM broker this morning, and so here's what I'm noticing. And I'll do some shout outs here in a second, but here's what I'm noticing. I notice anything associated with Sam's and Walmart, the transit times are all jacked up. A lot of them are too tight. I called on a load today that was 758 miles, picked up at 5 o'clock in the evening, and it went west. So we're changing time zones here, and delivered at 5 p.m. the next day for 758 miles. And the shipper doesn't let you go in early. Does anybody know what the problem is? That one. So you literally would have to be right there at the shipper and right there at the receiver to make that work. In my opinion, now I could be wrong. I'm not very aggressive when it comes to transit times, because if you got to do 75 miles an hour to make a load work, then there's a lot of potential for a lot of things to go badly. Unless you're in the load from, say, Des Moines, Iowa to Butte, Montana, and it's light, but then you still deal with the weather. Right now, there's a lot of crappy weather going on. Let me unshare the screen and let me bring up the weather map. Where's it at? Oh, I thought I saved it. Let me do this here. That didn't keep. Anyways, let's do the radar here. Share screen. Wow. Let's do this. Let's zoom this out. All right, there's your weather. There's your weather report, and then we'll do some shout outs. Don't worry, I'll get to the comments. I try not to be 20 minutes behind, but you know. Anyways, there's a lot of crap going on right here in Oklahoma. A lot of ice going on there, and then this system here is going to. I think we're supposed to get hit with that later tonight or early tomorrow morning. And then you get all going on up here in the Wisconsin and Minnesota. And of course, this area is always crap. So, anyways, the point is if your point A is from here to there, obviously now here's why it's important with Walmart lists. Because if you miss your appointment, they got to reschedule. So you don't want to take that chance. And I do know for a fact that there are brokers, not all of them, but some of them will tell you, yeah, man, they'll take you early. That shipper will take you early. Just show up there at 8 o'clock. You know, the appointment says 5 p.m. Just show up. You'll be all right. And then you get and they kind of look at you funny, or maybe they do get you loaded, but then that's a lot of risk, right? And remember, some brokers just want the load moved. They just want it off their board. So they'll tell you things like, "Oh yeah, they'll early. Oh, as long as you're there by 5 p.m., you're good to go on delivery." So, and you get there like, "Oh yeah, you're 5 hours late. So guess what? On this load for 2 more days until we get it rescheduled." And if you're doing a -10 reefer load, guess what? That's money, and they're not giving you detention layover if you're late. So there's a lot of that going on right now. And the brokers just don't understand that. A lot of them that just don't understand that the transit times that the shipper has created is not doable. So either they waited till the last minute to book that and hope that it can get done. They're hoping to find that one super solo team that can get that done, which is that's another. So if you're a team, Nevada, if you're a team, you find those loads with the impossible transit time. Say yes, we can get it done, and you'll keep moving. So just kind of out there. So let's do some shout outs here. Grafton, what's up? How's it going? Daryl Worth, good afternoon. Aaron, yo, Nevada Trucking and Trails, I see you in here. Grafton says, word. Old school, new school. And you better move it a little bit now that I got some trucks booked and we're trying to stay ahead of the game here. Oster, what's up? Hope you're doing well. Did you and James ever get that trailer out of Ohio? Shannon, good morning. Or good afternoon. I'm sorry, Shannon. Do we need to go beat somebody up? You can be whatever you want up. Find somebody that you think is a bad person and do whatever. Hey, glad you're in a better mood today. I'm at Dart HQ in Eagan, Minnesota. Weather horrible, so I'm getting out. I'm getting bunk heater fixed. Decided to see if I can shake things up in here. There you go. What are you shaking up? Sage is in the house. Shakes around the room. I-80 eastbound, Nevada, kicking Kansas City, Kansas. Is that what it is? I'll put my truck and trailer on an airplane and fly over that mess. There you go. Agent Orange says 2 days is my experience at Walmart. Depends on what you have in the box, right? Mr. Charles, what's up? Big Greek CEO. Yeah, bitches. You'll be late, but they'll take you. Don't you believe it, right? And you have to be careful because again, the broker's job is to move that load regardless, right? Once you've booked that Raycon transit time, that's all on you. If you decide to do that load and it's an impossible, that you should have done that homework. Now, me, if I was a broker, I would want number one, and CDN and I were talking about this earlier. Number one, if I'm a broker and I'm told, hey, you've got these 10 Walmart loads you got to move, And I'll look at the transit times. I'm like, well, I can't do that. Or that's going to be impossible to find. So now we risk screwing Walmart up. Hey, we booked your 10 loads, but every single one of them is late. Well, it's up to me to tell Walmart, hey, you know what? Maybe you need to fix this. So that's one thing you can do. Find out from the broker. Call the broker up and say, hey, you realize that transit time is not doable. Can you find out why? And then if they come up with some excuse, well, they'll load you when you get there. When can your driver be? Um, and then you get there, and next thing you know, you're having to do a split sleeper berth, and now you're driving night or something like that makes it unsafe. If you're not rested. So I mean, there's a whole assortment. Transit time is important, and it's up to the broker to educate Walmart. Hey, you know what? Transit time is not good on these. We need this and this. Unless you want, and then I'm getting a lot of loads that are now team loads because of that reason. Why is this a team load? Well, it was supposed to have been picked up yesterday. That kind of thing. So it's really interesting to see the dynamics that are changing. Russell Freight Services. Yo, what's up? Shannon. I come in early and talk them into unloading me early. Works most of the time, right? Not Walmart though. Good afternoon. It's Trucking Life. Let's see. David Riverman. Good afternoon. Offer them brownies. There you go. Good midday. I'm not too late. In Kool-Aid. Max Force. Just picked up my 14 stop load. Money. Yeah, there's quite a few of them going around. Jeff loves it when we book those kind of loads because he's got to enter that into Access. That's not fun. I've done it. 14 stops, that good for us a week, right? Going for 2 days, may run in the third day, depending on the weather. And look, multiple stops are good right now. Still, well, I take it back. There was a broker that offered a load. It was 680 miles. It was 2 drops for $900. And I just look at that and I just shake my head. I'm not even going to call that person, and it's probably by design because I've heard from more than one broker, guys, and this is key now. Okay, I've heard from more than one broker that people are calling and they're not even negotiating. What's the rate? $900. Okay, I'll take it. Not realizing that they're leaving about $600 on the table. Wow, my butt would be sore after 14 stops. I think my highest was 6 or 8. I think maybe it was 6. It was fireworks in Montana. DIY, what's up, Mr. Grumpy? Cash is king and DIY were live earlier, and I mentioned I was grumpy. And Adam's a caring person. He goes, "Why you grumpy, man? Why you sad?" 2 hours from Chicago, hoping it isn't as cold as Missouri was. Well, guess what? It is. Let me see. Chicago, Illinois. Current temperature. It's 41. Feels like 35. Let's see. Honestly, it's colder here than in Illinois. That's surprising. It's gonna be 37. I think it's the low. Yeah, it won't be too bad. I think I know what you got there, Chucky. Yeah, 7 was high. They put me in a good mood this morning. Yeah, they do, man. They're good, right? So I mean, it's look, that's what Mondays are. And it does, you know, tax man came and said, "Hey, you owe us more money than you originally thought," and help. And then we had to take the cat to the vet because it had this huge gash on its face, so we had to take care of that. And then it's just November's always been a hard month in the Snorelord household. Big Rig CO says he's in Chicago. Weather is grand. There you go. Auto parts. Wow, I was wrong. I thought it was something else that's like usually 15 stops. So, anyways, let's look at some maps here. Let's look at some volumes. And this is the 123 low board. Well, the DAT too, because got to use as many tools as possible. So there you go. There's the 123 low board. There's Van, and right now there's a bunch of bad weather in Oklahoma. So if you're going to Oklahoma, not only should you be negotiating a decent rate to go in because it's tough to get out, but the weather's going to affect. And those of you who know Oklahoma, they're not as well equipped to handle the snow as, say, I don't know, Wisconsin or Minnesota. And so that'll affect things. And then also that's going to drive some more people to the southeast to avoid it. So southeast is going to take even a bigger dump than what it already has. Even though it's green here, don't let that fool you. It just means volumes are good, but they're pushing down rates in both reefer and van in the southeast. Let's do reefer here. Apply. There's reefer. A little bit more green. Arkansas turns green. A lot of processed vegetables, like frozen vegetables, frozen meat is moving right now. The reefer market had come down a little bit. I wish I could get a truck up to Wisconsin to help a friend out, but I can't seem to get him up there. But I do dispatch a reefer truck, so I'm starting to see a few things that do, so there's a strategy and it's been working. That strategy is here to there, or even there, and maybe flirt with there, to here, maybe here. Don't go here. Definitely don't go here. If you go here, better have a plan. If you go here, you better have a plan. So there's that. Let's look at flatbed. Now, flatbed is interesting. All kinds of different dynamics going on in flatbed. So you have a lot of new people that flooded the market, and volumes have dropped almost 73% according to DAT trend lines. So that means that there's more people with flatbeds, and there's less loads. What does that equate to, people? Rate drops, because it's a supply and demand. And yep, see what Nevada says. Rates are horrible, and now let's take a look at that. Let's take a look. Van. Here's the thing with Pennsylvania. Okay. Let's do a load search here. Find loads. Going anywhere. Let's do it for van, because that's what Mr. and Mrs. Nevada have. Let's see. What date? You look day? We'll do today, tomorrow, Wednesday. How's that? I don't know why I'm clearing my throat in the microphone. That's lame. Sorry about that. Search. You got New York to California for $5,000, 181 a mile. Let's see what the average is on that. Now the average is going to be lower because they haven't been paying anything to get to California here lately. It's over the average. The average is $1.72 on the 123 low board. Yeah, but not much different. The low was $1.45, average 172, the high 181. So Pennsylvania generally is not. I mean, you got to be Western PA, Nevada. Western PA is where it's at if you're going to get out, because then you can always get to Youngstown Market or Pittsburgh Market. Speaking of which, Pittston, Pennsylvania, going to Medley, Florida. Let's see what that's paying. That's a lot higher per mile. But then what are you going to get out of, Fort Medley's a little bit deep in there. I wouldn't do that. Medley, Florida is pretty deep in there. That's what I like about having the map right there. Is it kind of gives you an idea. So a lot of stuff going to Florida. So let me look at this trend here, guys. This is something that you have to take note, right? Here's what's going on. So you got California, Arizona, California, Nevada. Here's a logo in the Reno for $1.49 a mile. Not saying that's good or bad, but it is what it is. See, Phoenix, Florida, Texas, Florida, Texas. Do you guys see any similarities here? It's all Florida, Texas, Florida. Here's one in Minnesota. Well, there's a big snowstorm in Minnesota right now. So that one should be paying a little bit better. But I'm familiar with that broker, and they could be hit or miss on the rates. Alabama, Mississippi, Florida, Georgia. This is all the stuff no one wants, like Baltimore to O'Fallon, Missouri. That's the one I would, if we can negotiate them up. So what do they got here? Picks up at 1 p.m. tomorrow, delivers the next day at 10:55 p.m. It's 835 miles, so it's a little tight. So that's what I'm talking about. So you're going to trash the 15th and the 16th. $42.88. So you're not going to get much for fuel mileage, and depending on what the product is, you might have to worry about freeze protect. What is the supply and demand thing you speak of? I know. I'm wackadoo, man. I'm wackadoo. Oh, that load's no longer. Oh no, it's still there. Let's see. But see, Missouri, St. Louis, that's St. Louis area. That's going to be a better. That's going to be a better thing. That's all toll roads, though. All the way down till you get to right there. So that's one load. Here's another one. Robbinsville, New Jersey to Joliet, Illinois. That'd be another one I'd look at. East Peoria, Oak Creek, Wisconsin. That's the one right there. 700 miles. Picks up tomorrow at 4. No, I'm sorry. Picks up Wednesday at 4 and delivers Friday at 12:01 a.m. Wow. That kind of sucks. See, there's a little bit too much time on that one. 9,000 pounds, Aldi's. Going to Aldi's, right? So, how good is Oak Creek Aldi's? But it puts you in the best freight area. So, when you empty out Friday and you get your 10-hour or 8-hour break in, guess what? The odds of you finding a good weekend load are going to be pretty good, in theory. And I'm going to do a disclaimer right now. Anything that I tell you, you need to add just in theory to the bottom line, to the sentence. And loads are going quickly. Look at that. So we got to refresh this. So basically, Nevada, if you want a good rate out of Pennsylvania, especially eastern Pennsylvania, you're going to have to go to a stupid place. Here's one: Jersey City, Jersey City to Olathe, Kansas. Let's take a look at that. Another Aldi's. So obviously Aldi's is shipping their stuff right now, and again, that's processed. Is this? I mean, I had it on van. I thought. Yep. So picks up. Doesn't say what time it picks up Wednesday. Delivers Friday at 12:01 a.m. So I keep seeing that 12:01, so that makes me think maybe that appointment's not set yet. But that's over 1,200 miles. Now for Nevada, this ain't no big deal, and that's where Nevada has to look at instead of rate per mile, rate per day, right? And they're below the 123 average, so of what it normally goes for. So yeah, but you'll be lucky to get $2 a mile out of Pennsylvania, in my opinion, for van. Look today. I'm booked tomorrow till next Monday. Call my contact in this. There you go. That's how you do it. Florida, the only thing really paying out of Eastern PA. All right. So here's what you do. Did you take that Florida load? Because if you did, I hope it's Jacksonville. You know, that area. The Hool is in the house. Just got the notification. How's it going, Snorelord? End up taking the truck to a mechanic to get the knock sensor replaced. Literally smashed it between two different exhausts. So that sucks. And you're right. You bet it is an Aldi. You were right on that. What's the best load you've seen so far today? That's a great question, Matthew. Um, probably 50 mile, but it was going into Massachusetts. It was going to Massachusetts. Trying to remember where. We'll just do Boston. So here's what we do. So do new search. Let's look at what Boston looks like. Go visit well, I was gonna say Tom Brady, but that's not accurate. He's in Florida now. Even he got smart and got out of the Northeast. Let's see here. Oh, again, here we go. Norfolk, Mass to North Little Rock. That's a goodie. Oh, look at that. Multiple stop. Sugar Creek, Missouri, Mount Home, Arkansas, North Little Rock. So what's the transit time on that? So it's 1,781 miles. And they want it done. Pick up tomorrow. And they want you to do 3 stops total and be at the last stop by November 18th at 11 a.m. Maybe I'm doing the wrong math here. Let's see. How many miles can you do a day? Generally, not Nevada because you got a extra person. Well, it's only 445 miles a day, depending on how quickly the stops go. Now, not sure where Sugar Creek, Missouri is. I know we're Mountain Home in North Little Rock, so you're in the woods a little bit. So let's zoom in on this map here. Yeah, these roads right here are not fun. And ask me how I know. So you ain't going to be averaging no. I mean, 445 miles is doable, and depending on the receiver, is North Little Rock going to be a good market to come out of? So that might, but see, they're only offering 3,000 for 4 days work for a van. Even if you get them up to the average, which is 3,400 divided by 4 days transit time, that's 850 a day. If you're signed on to a carrier for, 80%, that's $680 a day minus fuel. So, and you can negotiate stop pay, So, is that how you want to spend your week? So that's why I avoid the Northeast, because I see these things and I don't want to deal with it. And then, not to mention the tolls and the high fuel costs. But you ain't gonna. You'll be lucky to average about 500 miles on this run a day, especially through this area right here. That's again in theory. Where Sage says the views and opinions of this host are just for entertainment purposes. Yes, entertainment. That's what I am, and based on a perfect trucking industry, right? Yep, thought it was detention if you go there. Yep. I was seeing quite a few early this morning over $4 a mile short run. So when I remember Kansas City, Des Moines for 750. And look, those short runs are good if you can get 2 a day or something like that. But I don't know. If it's a 1 day run for 750, depending on how many miles it is, that's not bad for a daily rate. But can you do better? My short haul has literally just disappeared in the area. I was offered 2 different ones just a bit ago from Ottumwa to Hannibal for 750. And then Hannibal, you got to probably deadhead to St. Louis or Chillicothe. Maybe there's something. So it just depends. Let's see. Let's go back to load availability. Stuart, what's up? We were having the British invasion in Wilburner's channel Saturday night. Dang Brits all over the place. Dang foreigners. But so yeah, it's so I'll tell you what, let's take a look at some load ratios with that DAT. All right, so dashboard. Okay. All right. Oh, can you guys see? Shift. Oh, wrong one. Oops. There we go. Oser says you ain't getting 2 loads out of Iowa unless it's a drop and hook guaranteed detention every time at DPSG in Ottawa, Iowa. Yep. What's up, Cool Trucking? And see, that's what, look, and that's the beauty of networking is you can find out from other people, um, you know, if you don't know lane, experience kind of does that, right? So if you don't have the experience, you learn from people that do have the experience. And if you've been out here a minute, then you've got a lot of this knowledge already. Like, for example, I've been in the spot for, I don't know, going on 6 years now. I've been running self-dispatch since, 2014. So I've been in every market that I can think of. And then this dispatch service thing, that's been, I have learned a lot about what works and what doesn't. And I've made some mistakes, obviously, but have had decent success. And any driver that I was dispatching that I'm no longer dispatching has either gone out of business because of their own personal choices or because they couldn't handle the spot market. They went to contract, which is normal. I mean, look, that's part of this normal cycle, right? But here's the row ratios for van. It's middle of the day, so these numbers are kind of not too bad. Look at Florida 25, 29 going in, 915 coming out. Georgia's looking pretty even, Steven, there. That's kind of nice to look at. But with Florida being a crap hole, then that's going to soften the Georgia market. So you're still going to deal with the lower rate. Illinois looks good. Indiana looks good, of course, as always. It's the same thing. The states that are green. Michigan is 611 in, 1044 out. Missouri is 604 in, 1036 out. Ohio, 1187 in, 2055 out. Let's look at Wisconsin. 593 in, almost twice as much to come out. Twice as many loads coming out. If you're not utilizing the Wisconsin market, then I don't know what's wrong. Same thing with these other markets that I've showed. Now let's look at Pennsylvania. 1363 in, 1295 out. So pretty even. But still, that's why they can push those rates low. Now, I'm going to do something here. I'm going to show you guys something. Talking about this. There it is. We're going to zoom in on this. So people are wondering about AI, like how many on their pricing. Oh, look at this. What does that say? Surge Transportation provides shippers with real-time APR market pricing technology and real-time reliable capacity for truckload shipments, both domestic and cross-border. Our pricing is backed by 100% tender accept and integrated directly through our partnership with most major TMS providers. Boom. Now, I don't know. I'm not going to surge because I've done a few loads for them, but how often are you able to negotiate with them? Not much. They've gotten better up there. Last 5 times I went there, I haven't gotten detention. Look at the reefer loads out of Boise rates. Let's do that. Bill. Find loads. Out of Boise. And let's do reefer. Search. Share screen. All right. Oh, look at that. Parma, Idaho to Miami, Florida. $7,000 for 2,800 miles. So that comes out to $257 a mile. Now there's got to be something to it though, other than Miami. 0 degrees Celsius, 19. There's still the average. I'd get above that average there, but then what are you going to take out of Miami? So you grab this load. What's your profit margin on the way in, and look at your profit margin on the way out. If you can find something on the way out. I personally wouldn't do that load, but that's just me. I would pick this Orlando. Um, if you wanted to go southeast. Now, mind you, what else? You know what else softens the southeast market? The weather. Remember this. Remember this. No one wants to deal with this, right? No one wants to deal with this. I bet you there's somebody somewhere that's like, oh, dude, I got this really great load to Oklahoma City, man. It's paying $260 a mile. Yeah, but you're going to be shut down for a day because I-40 will close because some idiot will wipe everything out. Here we go. This is the one we want. You want to go to Milwaukee. Those are the two I would look at first. Let's do that one. Vale, Oregon. Going to Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 18 miles, put you in the best market. It's heavy, or that's generic weight. But your rates are kind of on an uptick there. You're right, Bill. And Freightways is talking about an uptick in reefer rates. I've seen a downtick depending on what part of the country you're in. But reefer up for Thanksgiving. Let's see. Sage, but Mel Gibson can't get hit over his ancestors. Has produced Braveheart and Patriot. I like those movies, Brit. Big. That's great. Oh, that's funny. It was Snorelord's idea. He told me to look into it. I blame Snorelord. Look, I just noticed that they were all doing the same thing. So obviously there's more to the story. I approached CDN about all these loads, all these horrible transit times. And it's getting kind of ridiculous, some of them. So, I mean, that load to Wisconsin was under $2 a mile a week or so ago. Says Cool Trucking. Well, it's up there now. So when you look at load availability, let's look at Idaho. Click on that. Go to the. Okay, that's for all. Let's go to reefer here. It's showing orange here. Boise to Grand Rapids. That one. That's another one I would do. It's been pretty steady. A little bit of an uptick right there on that trend. But then look at Grand Rapids, man. There's more loads coming out of there. Now this Triple T Transport, I've never worked with them, so I don't know much about them. They got a B credit on Thunder Fundings, so who knows? You go to Thunder Fundings website and find it, see what their credit issues are, if any. Now here's 414 a mile. Mountain Home, Idaho to Denver, Colorado. 2-day decent transit time for the weather. Dairy products, so it probably shouldn't be frozen. But then you're going into Denver. So what's the market look like out of Denver? Well, let's take a look. Here's lows Denver to anywhere. So you click on that. Here you go. Here's a shorty. Denver to Hutchinson. Run reefer continuous. I don't know what that doesn't say what temp though. Or you want to go back? Here's one, Denver to Salt Lake. Of course, you're going through some mountains there. So that's gonna you string loads together. That's here we go. This is gonna be Walmart. Let's take a look at the transit time. Moberly, Missouri. That's not bad. 750 miles. Picks up Friday. That's why it delivers Sunday. So we might as well call it Monday because what are you going to find out of Moberly on Monday? So there's a lot of options there. There's logo in Oklahoma City out of Boise paying $5,000. Wow, there you go. I wonder if that was AWG. My customers just switched to an AI system for all legal loads on the DAP board. That's good. Pizza time. I know where James is at. I know where Big Rig CEO is at if he's getting pizza. Good stuff. I know where he's at. But anyways, I mean, look, there's 100 ways to do it, but here's what I'm going to tell you guys right now. Attitude is everything. And that's what we talked about on Wheel Burner's channel Saturday night. Attitude is everything. Because you're running a business. I know that what I've experienced myself, and being self-dispatch, the 100% of the time I've been an owner operator is you get in this don't want her stage. Me and we would talk about, me and some friends, we talk about the don't wanters. Don't want to do this, don't want to do that, don't want to do this. Guess what? This market will chew you up and spit you out if you're a don't wanter. Now, instead of saying I don't do this, I don't do that, you can sit there and say, well, if I'm going to go in Pennsylvania, I can sit there, like, let me give you an example. If I sit there and say I don't want to go to Pennsylvania, and that's it, it's done. No, I'm not going to Pennsylvania. But if I go, well, I'll go to Pennsylvania, but the money's got to be right. Now it's not as negative. And so you sit there and say, I will do Pennsylvania, but only under these conditions. That changes your mindset a little bit. And that's what you have to look at. Because if you're a don't wanter, you ain't going to make it. It's as simple as that. Not in the spot market. So if you go to a contract company and you're dispatched, well, now you don't even have a choice of where you go. Which is, if that's what floats your boat. But, if you're not picky, if you're an anytime and anywhere type person, you can still make money right now. And I have drivers that are living proof of that. And if you live anywhere in these green states right here, even Iowa, even though it's yellow, this is for reefer. You're probably still doing okay depending on what your net and costs are. Now, fuel is a bitch. It is a pain. But there's ways to shield you from that too. And there's nothing that I've told you to do that I wouldn't do myself here. If I'm running my truck and I see a logo in Pennsylvania, instead of saying I ain't going to Pennsylvania, I will say, you know what? Let me look at the cost. Let me look at the transit time and let me see what I can get out of there before I book that. Wow, it's a 5,000-pound load going into, Pittston, and I could just jump over to Youngstown to grab something. Okay, I'll, and I was able to negotiate an extra $200 or $300 for tolls. I think we're going to be okay, right? So I'll do that. Would I do a 45,000-pound load to McKicksburg with a day and a half transit time from Springfield? No, I would not do that. Not because I don't want to, it's just because it doesn't make business sense to me on the way I've got everything structured. That's different than just, I don't want to do that. It's a hassle. I don't want to do that because it's just dumb. Now, I saw that headline, Britt. Amazon laying off 10,000 and stock market goes positive. There is some funky things going on right now. It just shows you the unpredictability. And look, most of this stuff is on our control, right? So you just have to prepare for the unpredictable. And trucking has always been, for the most part, unpredictable. The only thing that's the constant in trucking is that it's always changing. A lot of Taco Bell's meat ships out of the Parma, Idaho area. They pay pretty well. Is it real meat though? Didn't want to go to Nevada, Pennsylvania, or West Virginia, but my boss said, "Move it or lose it, sister." Right? And your boss can be, man. Your boss can be a handful, right? Right, Shannon. Stock market is also based off of profit as Amazon cuts. They trim in fat. I got screwed in my last loop due to cancel loads and appointment time changes without my authorization. I never said I don't drive at night. I've never said that, Big Rick CEO. You're spreading lies now. Also, the G20 is Biden said we will compete vigilantly with China. That means U.S. will print money. See, I'll go anywhere within reason if the price is right. Price better be high for California, though. And why is that? Because you're looking at it from a business standpoint. If it's profitable and worth it, and I have things in place just in case things go wrong, then yes, California can be good, right? You talk to Provost Motorsports, man, he goes to California all the time. In fact, he loves it out there. He goes out there, grabs a load, does the 34, goes back, boom, he's done for the month. I got 3 more loads up here, and then I go south. There you go. Shannon, oh yeah, my boss is something else. Right. Need anything from Cabo Wabo, the Van Halen, or the Sammy Hagar song, whatever? Yeah, pick me up some of that, I don't know, pick me up something. Whiskey or something. Did Shannon join like truck? That's funny. You didn't think I would get that, did you? That's funny. I think she's talking about herself as far as her boss goes. But no, she is not over here yet. And I mentioned yet. But so yeah, there's still money to be made. There's just a lot of shenanigans going on, and it is getting tough, especially in van and especially in flatbed. Jack Knight TV was talking about some of the rates he was seeing out of his area, and so it's just, I mean, look, it's tough, guys, right now. If you're in the spot market, it's tough, and that's just how it is. I'm skittish about California based off the horror stories I've heard. Been trucking since 2011 and never been there. Well, so here's how California works. If you're going to Northern California this time of year, prepare for bad weather. Trucks are told to be 55 miles an hour, so you don't make any good time anywhere. And in my opinion, LA is worse than Chicago and even New York City at times due to the time it takes to drive around. If you go up to Oregon and Washington, now you're paying more money per trip on the Oregon run, and then Washington can be a good freight area, but there's only there's only two directions you can go, so the rates tend to be put down a little bit. So you deal with a lot of hassle, and then if your load cancels that you had coming out of there, then it's scrambling, and you're in competition with a lot of people. So it's California would be good on a dedicated thing, I would think, and then fuel is $7 a gallon as well. And as Ratman says, he hates Cali. And I don't blame him. As a truck driver, I've only been to Cali once. That was literally I picked up and delivered. I delivered and picked up at the same place, same warehouse. I just had to switch docks. That was the best way to do it. And I was a company driver. But even then, the load going out there was 30,000 pounds, and the load coming back to Springfield was like not even 5. So that was a good turnaround. Like if that was a spot load, then I would consider it because it was literally taking dunnage to this place and then picking up final product back to Springfield. And it was an open drop on the Springfield side. So that means that, I can go with my hours. I didn't have to, do 700 miles a day to make it work. The real broker hammered me on whether I was going to make it on time or not. Tart is my middle name when I follow rates. Highest wins wherever it goes. Josh, what's up? So, again, it goes in this. It's literally attitude, everybody. We're all, a lot of people are struggling right now, and there are people that aren't that will tell you that they're not, but they are, or if they aren't, they're going to tell you what's wrong with you. You're an idiot. You don't want to be part of that either, right? So there's it's just part of the game. This is what you signed up for when you sign in on the dotted line for that truck. Now, if you're doing part spot and part contract, that's to me that seems to be a pretty good balance because now you're getting the best of both worlds, right? Depending on where those contracts are. But I'm telling you, you can create consistency in the spot market, but two things need to happen. One, your costs need to be down, and two, you got to have an open mind. You got to be business minded. So when I see North Dakota, like if I see a load from say Springfield to North Dakota, and it's 20 below zero up there, I can easily say, well, I don't want to do that. But it's more than just not wanting to. It's the fact, well, okay, what am I going to get out of there? How much idling will I have to do to, because my APU can't keep up with negative 20. And will I be able to get a good rate coming out? And will I be stuck due to weather, like for example, a blizzard or something of that nature? That's how I look at that. I don't just sit there and say, "Oh, I don't want to go to North Dakota." I've been to North Dakota. I've been to all states except Nevada, because shady people live in Nevada. But that's it, right? And that's I've seen loads to Vegas that I wanted to take, but you know what? It just didn't make sense. And then Oser, I think a while back, was saying how tough it was for him to get out of Vegas a couple weeks ago or a few weeks ago. So it wasn't just me being a don't wanter. It was me going, wow, yeah, Vegas is definitely not a good idea for me. Could be for somebody else. In Nevada trucking and trails, he's mentioned how tough it is to go west of 35. So what happens? He doesn't go home. So that tells me that maybe if you want to be profitable in the West Coast, you better have some knowledge or a trick up your sleeve. Obviously, people are doing it. Good afternoon, you do me tuner. If all goes belly up, then I'll just go back to coming driver. It's not the end of the world, honestly. And there's people doing that. Even in a football game, you got to punt every now and then, right? But that's being a business-minded person. Okay, so if this and this happens, then I'll do this. If this and this happens, then I can do this. My backup plan is to do this or this. I mean that's the kind of thinking that an entrepreneur does. And if you're not doing your homework, if you're not doing the math, if you don't create a solid foundation, then that just makes everything tougher. That's it. Doesn't make it impossible, just makes it tougher. And that's kind of where I'm at mentally. I often think about what would I be doing if I was running my truck full time? Would I be going? I'd be going wherever the money paid. I would still avoid the West Coast. I do not run any of my trucks on things that I would not do. Look at DIY. He failed, waited to learn, and then did it again. He seems to have done it right this time. He's doing well. I would have had a stroke if I drove a tanker like he does. Pneumatic, you know what makes pneumatic Brit good? You know what makes him good is his mindset. To the point that Schneider will bend over backwards for him, and he's willing to help other drivers Schneider out when Schneider goes, "Hey, so and so is struggling. Can you help this person out?" And then when he says, yeah, I don't think I can help this person out. They're done." Then they trust his opinion. So it's all about mindset. It's as simple as that. Doesn't matter what this map looks like. If you have the right mindset and get that one dedicated run out of Montana instead of into it, and it's a decent rate, there you go. Now, the odds of that happening are pretty slim, but you know what? If you got the right mindset, they're not as slim as you think. If you know the right people, that can happen. So, anyways, we're over an hour right now, so I appreciate. Um, Look, my email is in the description. If you need any kind of like, hey Steve, what do you think about this market or that market, or what are your thoughts? I'm new to the industry and I've never ran Pennsylvania. What can it? Then I can tell you about it. And I'm not the kind of person that's going to judge you or tell you what you should or shouldn't do. I'm just going to tell you what the challenge is and what what the challenges are, what kind of money you might be looking at. I'm not a person of blanket statements. I've seen their pocket with no credit succeed, and I've seen people with 800 credit scores file bank. And what's the difference? Is the mindset. And the more given, if you have the right mindset, you're right. You guys hear about these people that lose the lottery or win the lottery all in 2 or 3 years, the lottery didn't change their mindset. Right. Peace. Thanks for the live. You're full of info. Thank you, Don. I appreciate that. If the tanker had baffles, I would do it honestly. I don't need no baffles. It is a miracle he's got respect. No, look, here's the deal with I was an IC for them, and my BOA liked me. I hardly had any issues. I was the saver. The trailer pull was kind of jacked up at times. But beyond that, I can go months without ever needing to talk to my BOA. As long as I had the pickup and delivery numbers and didn't need a trailer, I didn't even have to call them. My settlements were always right. And the times that they would call me like, hey, we haven't heard from you in a while. Everything going okay? Yeah, everything's fine. Oh, okay. Just checking up on you. And at Schneider, they reward the independent. They reward the people that can think and solve problems on their own. Every carrier does. Well, let me that's a blanket statement. I apologize. If you're at a carrier that appreciate independent thought, then don't work for that carrier, in my opinion. And if you're good at that, the brokers like that as well. They want people that can solve problems so they don't have to deal with it. And so when you look at Jeffrey Light's past and my past with Schneider and Steve Berger, if you check out we've all had great experiences at Schneider. And but if you're a complainer or don't want her, yeah, Schneider's going to let you know that that's not cool. 6 weeks total victory. By the way, 6 weeks from now is Christmas, I believe. So there's that. So it's all about mindset, people. Now, are there some bad carriers? Trust me, I know. But there's also a lot of good carriers. By the way, we've got some extra trailers if you want. And if we see that you're struggling, we'll call you. We'll, not because we expect a certain revenue, because we don't have a minimum anymore. And I encourage the drivers to call us struggling or they have an issue or there's something wrong, you know, because Jeff's been in this game for a long time, but Jeff's been in the spot game for OVI. So if you're struggling, definitely want to help you out because it doesn't do us any good if a driver leaves. So we want to help you out. Thank you for the super chat. I'm going to call you Vader Cooler. I'd send more files. Well, you're getting ready to get some work done at a dealership, so yeah, I'm thankful for the $4.99. I appreciate that. So, but and look, I different aspects with the dispatch service, and Jeff can see what all the on our TMS system, and he sees what people are doing, and so if we see if we and I track my numbers with all the drivers I dispatch, and if I see that there's a number I don't like, I'll tell you, I'm not happy with this number, you know, is this, or can we, let's explore this option, let's go over this idea. And that's what is with good people. I got a couple of drivers I've dispatched in the past or currently that will tell you that's what I do. Doing this homework and looking at these low boards, and not just one, but a lot of them, you get an idea of what's going on. And when all the brokers are doing the same thing or the rates are continuing to drop, like for example, Bill pointed out, because I don't run Idaho, nor do I have trucks that run Idaho. He just said rates coming out of Idaho are pretty good for reefer right now. So if I had a reefer, be confident to send them to Ohio or Idaho, because I'm pretty confident I can come out. I wouldn't have known that had been and said this, right? Because I don't look in that area. But if I had a truck that said, "Hey, you need to go to Boise, can you get me there?" I'll be like, "Oh yeah, let's look in the market coming in." And then we would go over that, and then I would call Bill. I was like, "Hey, Bill, what's up with Idaho, man? You guys are in out there. What do you guys deal with?" And Big Rig CO, he also turned me on lane. Even gave me a couple of numbers to call. That's what you do. You network, you improvise, you plan. You can have the best laid out plan, but if you're not flexible or you don't know how to improvise, it could be a struggle as well. That's essentially what we're all doing out here. Now, I'm gonna do one more thing. I'm gonna take a picture of this. All right, so let's see if it's here. Oh, it's on the other phone. All right. Here's a perfect example of what I'm talking about. I was watching Freight Waves earlier, and there was somebody that got in the chat, and I don't want to show it. I'm going to read it because I don't want to call this person out. If Fed wants lower inflation, the easiest and fastest way would be to regulate how much rate brokers can keep for themselves and how much to pay to the carrier. In other words, he wants the government tell a person how much he could profit, and that's going to be the cure all for inflation. That's it. That's going to take you out. Now, here's where regulations should come in. Um, Shippers and receivers, make them aware of hours of service. And there's already regulations in place saying a shipper can't technically knowingly let you off the lot with a illegal weight, right? That's a regulation. Do we still get overloaded? Yes. And it's that regulation that makes you going, hey, this load's 82,000 pounds. You need to take the load. But there's some that will go, wink, wink. You can do it, right? But that mindset that the government's going to save you, mindset that, oh, I know how to fix inflation. No, you don't. You don't have a clue. And the minute that they force broke to have transparency, I'm out. I'm over the spot market. I'll leave. I'll sell the truck. It's a wrap. Because it's not going to the driver's favor. I promise you. And it's amazing all these people that scream regulation, regulation, we're over regulated. But then other people to be just as regulated. hot seat. If it wasn't for regulation, I would pull over from my 30 and I would have missed this live. That's funny. G Star, good afternoon, fellow drivers. Greetings from Indy. Heading to Decatur, Illinois. Got to chase those short run for 1K at least per day. Run $3 per mile, and that's what I shoot for. Is the shorter stuff that gets a decent rate per day. Sorry, I'm late. I had to work. I had to do some work today. Right. The Canadians have entered the building, says Britt. but but again, it goes back to mindset and what's realistic. And remember, with rules and laws, they go around them. They figure out ways around them. Right? Drugs are illegal, but yet here we are with the biggest drug addiction problem we've ever had in the history. Speeding's illegal, but yet here we are doing 75 and a 50. So what's more regulations going to do? All honest business people. That's what it does. It's all about mindset. You know, if you want to open up an auto body shop, there's all these OSHA regulations. Your building's got to be to code. You got to have a proper paint disposal. You got to have paint booth filtration. You have to have the proper PPE for your you have to follow insurance rules, you have to follow local tax, follow local zoning laws. You know, so you can't guy that opens his garage and paints cars from there on a whim, you know, shade, right? Because of regulation. So ask for more regulation, it, to me, is absurd. Because I guarantee you, you know, TQL taking 40% is not the cause of inflation. If they even take 40%, that's the thing. Most people, you go, hey, how much do you think? And they tell you a number. It's always an assumed number. Well, my buddy's friend had, you know, this document that showed, okay, that's that one load, that one time with your buddy negotiate. But they need the regulation. That's a master. I generate the most money on a continuous to 450-mile runs. If you can get the scheduling right, that's perfect, in my opinion. Unfortunately, if you know, depending on what part of the country you're in, so it just depends. Wait for full software to have feelings for you for about your deadhead. No one has feelings for anything. This is business. They don't care about your feelings. That broker does not care about your toll costs. That shipper definitely doesn't care. Do you are you uh, sensitive to a UPS driver that he's got to drive and make in New York City? Do you care about that? No, you just want your package. It's the same, right? So you got to deal with it. That's the world you signed up for, and that's what we have to. And guess what? It's very doable. It's very doable, but it all starts up here in your mind. With that being said, thanks for watching. If you are interested in trying out the 123 low board, 065 is the code. try it out and it's $35 a month after that for all the tools and more that I've shown you and that I've not shown you. And if you want, like and subscribe, please. If you're new to this channel, and like I said, if you have any questions about it, email me, and maybe I can help you out. So 750 for 120 miles, that's good. Especially if hopefully the truck will be out of the shop by then. So with that being said, thanks for watching every single one. And strength for today, hope for tomorrow. Peace.